Hello everyone, I'm Rachel and I welcome you all to Executive Corner Expert Talks. Today I'm speaking with Malcolm Hebblewhite. He's the CEO of Atmo Biosciences. Now Atmo is a digital health business commercializing a world-first ingestible gas sensing capsule. Here at Kalkine, we bring you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates, all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock market and help you understand how you can create multiple passive income streams. I'm very excited to chat with you today, Malcolm. Welcome.
Thanks, Rachel. Appreciate it.
Now, first off, could we get you to give us an introduction to Atmo and tell us more about what you are doing in the digital health arena?
Certainly. So, look, we're a digital health company commercializing some technology involving a gas sensing capsule, which you ingest and which senses gaseous biomarkers that are clinically important and transmits that information wirelessly to the cloud for aggregation and analysis. So it's to be used to analyse gut health and dysfunction.
It sounds absolutely fascinating. Now, you have been successful in raising almost $10 million. What are your plans for this raise?
Yeah, so we're very excited to have on board as shareholders as part of that raise, among others, Otsuka Pharmaceutical and Allium Capital here in Sydney. So we're really excited at how the demand that we experienced during that raise and the reception that we got from both existing shareholders and from new investors such as Otsuka. We've developed what is now the third generation of the capsule technology, and we're involved in 11 clinical trials, which are either underway or that we have completed. And we've administered the capsule now to almost 300 subjects in those trials. So it's certainly more than an idea. We're gathering a lot of valuable data. And this raise will enable us to complete the product development in preparation for a pivotal trial next year and make a regulatory submission with the FDA for a first indication. So it also allows us to continue our clinical program and explore additional clinical indications in commercially interesting applications like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which is the largest chronic condition that's treated in the US at the moment, for instance, and SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which affects anywhere from 5 to 15% of the general population. And along the way, we'll be obtaining quality accreditation to the appropriate medical device level, along with automating and scaling up our manufacturing capability and growing our team to support those kinds of additional activities.
Excellent. And Prime Minister Scott Morrison also marvelled at Atmo's lab in a pill on his manufacturing tour in Melbourne back in July. Are you able to tell us a bit more about how the pill actually works?
Certainly. So Prime Minister Morrison did enjoy his visit to us. I think he was quite fascinated by what we're doing. But the microbiome, for those of you who aren't aware, is the collection of all of the microbiota that live on and within us. And there's a lot of them. They outnumber the cells in our body. They weigh a couple of kilograms and they play very important roles in various physiological processes. And it's largely an unexplored area, and many aspects of the microbiome are a mystery. And your gut is essentially a 9-metre long tube connecting different organs. And it's very difficult to get into the inner reaches of it. So much less to understand what is going on functionally in there. And our technology opens up a window and shines a light on the microbiome function, providing insight by measuring these clinically important gaseous biomarkers to better understand gut health or dysfunction. And that's going to lead to earlier relief of symptoms, more personalised approach to therapy, and ultimately healthcare cost savings. And given that 1 in 5 of us are going to see a gastroenterologist at some point in our lives, there is an enormous unmet clinical need that needs to be met here, because there's a lack of tools that are available for gastroenterologists to demystify what is going on in the gut. And we see enormous potential for this to become ubiquitous as a first-line screening and diagnostic tool to provide functional insight into microbiome function.
And it does sound so very futuristic. What are the future prospects that you have for this pill?
Look, there are a range of applications, all of which result in data that are transmitted to the cloud and build a large data set. As I mentioned before, we've got over almost 300 subjects and their data from the clinical trials that we're currently running. But what that allows us to do by building a data set like that is to overlay algorithms and apply machine learning and AI to the data to extract additional insight about an individual or a cohort and the state of their gut health or dysfunction. So we're very excited about some initial indications that we have a line of sight on, and there are plenty more coming, beyond that.
And you did mention the US regulatory clearance of the ingestible capsule. Where will this take the product, and how important was that for your company?
So we're working at the moment with a strategic partner and shareholder in a company called Planet Innovation out of Melbourne for the product development capabilities that we need. We're also growing the Atmo team itself to continue building the technical capability that we need, which we'll need to serve the multiple applications that we'll be pursuing. And we're in the process of scoping a pivotal trial that we will be conducting next year in Australia, the US, Europe, to gather the data for that regulatory submission for an initial indication. So that's where a lot of the funds that we've just raised will be going, with a view to completing those activities.
And the COVID pandemic has obviously affected many businesses. Has this caused any stalls for you with regards to the trials, and how have you managed to continue progress during this time?
Yeah, certainly. I think everyone's been obviously impacted by unforeseen circumstances, and it certainly created challenges for us. I mean, what it meant was that we had to make our budget go further, particularly as an early stage startup. So that created some challenges for us. But by staying as flexible and certainly as lean as we could be, and by being creative, we've managed to not just survive but also thrive. When COVID, for example, shut down our Melbourne trial sites, we went to New Zealand and we developed alternative clinical trial sites elsewhere, such as in Christchurch. So planning for and mitigating against threats like COVID by having contingencies has enabled us to not only survive but also to gather the data and achieve the milestones that we've needed. And that's what put us in a good position to be able to raise this latest round, which was not only upscaled, but it was oversubscribed. So it's indicative of the activity that we've been progressing and the progress that we've been making, but it's also indicative of the interest in this space, in what is a nascent field in terms of the microbiome and our tools to investigate it.
Well, it is absolutely marvellous to see progression in this arena, and congratulations again on your raise. Thank you, Malcolm. It's been great to chat with you today.
Thanks very much, Rachel.
Thank you. And with that, I will sign off, but watch this space for more. Till then, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.